And there's a diversion between Franklin and Gordon, or not Franklin, Gordon and Pedder.
Oh, between the lakes, the kind of canal.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's like a relief, since I assume Gordon's a little bit higher than Pedder.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's so they can pump, presumably, usually pump water down, I guess, to sort of even out the pressure or whatever on the two different hydro stations. But I'm just guessing. I don't know.
It's pretty nifty. Nifty engineering.
Yeah. Impressive.
The stream is working.
Alright.
Oh, sweet. Is that on Twitch or?
No, that's on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Did you post a link anywhere?
No, would you like me to?
Sure, why not? There might be some people who are curious but not able to fly right now.
You want me to put it in the stream channel?
Yeah, you can pop it in there.
So where the valley just closes in front of you there, I think that was where one of the dams that was going to be so controversial was planned to be. So kind of flooding this valley that we're going over right now.
They were going to dam up there by waypoint 5?
Like waypoint 6, pretty much.
Okay.
In front of us, yeah.
Oh, that is 6. I saw the, I had my line, my previous route covering up the 5, or the 6. The back.
Oh, on a little nav map.
Yeah.
Wow, this satellite imagery, and actually the mesh also, is so much more detailed than PNG.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite impressive.
It's just a shame these beautiful hills don't have airstrips carved into them.
True.
Then it would be a true joy.
I mean, one talk could probably make that happen.
I could make fictional strips, sure. There are hardly any in this part of Tasmania because it's all World Heritage. But in the eastern part, there's going to be a heap of little airstrips which aren't in the sim yet.
So the VOR, the radio stations, or I don't know exactly what they're called, that the mod was made for, is that VOR navigation, or am I missing something?
Yeah, well, 3 kinds of navigation: VOR and DME and NDB. So, all 3, 3 flavors of steam gauge, old school nav.
Okay, so how do you navigate with those? Because either I usually use the GPS or I use the compass. I've never used VR or anything like that.
Yeah, it's pretty nerdy. I mean, you have to triangulate your angles between, like, you basically get a VOR station or 2 VOR stations, like on nav 1 and nav 2, and kind of keep track on the map of where you are by calculating the angle of one or the angle of the other.
That sounds up my alley. I might have to try that out. Especially in the 170.
Well, I'm thinking about putting together a little trip using Dead Reckoning in a Stearman.
Wow, great. What instrumentation does that have? Avionics.
Nothing.
It's got airspeed, right?
It's got indicated airspeed. It's got a rudimentary altimeter. It's got a compass and some
Wow.
general engine gauges like battery and I think RPM is on there as well. So it's very basic. And fuel. I think there's a fuel gauge, rudimentary fuel gauge.
That'd be handy. Okay. Yeah, so really just dead reckoning.
Yep, we'll just calculate. Well, I'll put the plan together in a little nav map like I would on some charts, and then determine distances, and then based on our airspeed, do calculations for various airspeeds, just in case we get a headwind or we get a tailwind.
What's the steering cost? Like $30?
I think it's only like 20, I think.
Oh, then I'm definitely down for that. I'll spend $20 on the steering.
It's a great plane to fly. Slow, but it's fun.
How so? Like 100 knots slow or like 60?
Okay, it doesn't have the readout in knots. It's in miles per hour, and I think it peaks out at like 130, 140 miles an hour, so right at maybe 120 knots.
Alright, that's what the 170 flies at, so I'm used to that.
That's pretty good for... When was this? The 1920s? 30s?
30s.
Pretty good for the
Well,
30s.
late 20s, early 30s.
It's a fast biplane. Who was saying something about a mod for it that has an engine cowling?
I think there was either a mod for it or... Got this 208 trimmed out perfectly. Wind's kind of jostling me from the west, but this is scattered clouds. We'll pop over to live and see what it looks like now. Socked in valley, but you can still see stuff. Looks like we're heading into rain though.
You slow down real quick when you hit live.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Let's see, I went from 29.92 inches in, the default scattered clouds. Huh, only 0.01 inches difference. I figured I'd hit a bunch of low pressure or high pressure air.
Are you staying in live?
No, I'm getting the hell out of this. This is abysmal.
Alright. Oh, you slowed down even more.
I'm gonna speed up. What speed are you doing?
110.
110. I was doing 140.
I think when you switched between the different weathers, it paused your game for just a second. And so it seemed like you were slowing down, but it was just you were pausing for a split second. And now you're gone, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, also, I mean, not everyone's in 208, so they're not ready to hit too far.
Oh, what are you guys flying?
I'm in a 2.8, but Jedi Knight's in a 182, 172?
Is it a
182.
182.
Oh, he's in a 182? Oh yeah. I think I keep up.
So I reached out to Karen Auto actually, and I was like, hey, would you mind releasing the files to us so that way we could mod it to be a tail dragger, or are you gonna make it? And they got back to me and they were like, hey, yeah, thanks, we'll think about it.
Standard response.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I expected. I was hoping for more. I got what I expected, so I'm not really like disappointed. But I was like, dude, just give me the files.
Guess they want to keep their options open.
Yeah, I don't blame them. They're a company. I guess that's how they make money.
That's an interesting name off to our left. Allowing high 10. I have no idea what that means.
I see allowing high-low.
Allowing hail? 0.
Nope. Any of these options. Neither of them make sense.
How did you see high 10?
It looks like a 1 and a 0.
It looks like an I with an L between a 0.
It depends which state you come from.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Florida, he's Louisiana.
Exactly my point, breasts.
Neither of those are good.
Well, I'm not originally from Louisiana.
Where are you originally from?
Arkansas.
That's
not
a
much
whole lot
better. Just slightly, though.
Slightly better. The education system? Better.
We rank in the middle part of the country on that one.
I don't even want to know what Florida ranks.
Oh, the landscape kind of fell down in these little gaps here. These sheer black cliffs are not that convincing.
Or sheer black cliffs.
Oh, in these little gaps between the hills, like you just flew through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're actually called the Gordon splits. Like this is the Gordon River, and these narrow gaps through the lines of the ridge lines are called the Gordon splits, and they have apparently spectacular whitewater rafting. Like one of them, I think the one you're heading into, has only ever been successfully passed through on whitewater rafting by like 5 people.
It's crazy. Just like those mountains. Those are some beautiful mountains coming through this gap.
Yeah. Looks great from a distance and terrifying up close.
Pretty sure anytime I stream, if somebody watches me flying this, they're just disappointed.
You mean disappointed in your flying skills?
Yeah, because I'll like hard left aileron, hard left rudder to make it through turns. The stall horn's going off the whole time, and I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm just gonna follow this river, man. Screw the stall horn.
Yeah, so just before WP15, there's another little valley off to the right. You can see Lake Pedder through it, and you can see the dam along that way. It's kind of a V shape, so you can see the dam for Lake Gordon on your left, the dam for Lake Pedder on your right. Hey there, Don.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. We're just approaching Lake Gordon on this flight in Tasmania.
Yeah, I was creating a flight plan. Do y'all realize how many Menditana airports there are?
Yeah. Several Carabagas, several Werburger, I think is. I'm butchering that, I'm sure.
Yeah, what's behind that is just like the Indonesian authorities didn't want to glorify the airports by giving them a name, or
I guess so. I'm sure that they have a name, we just are stuck with a directory that doesn't give us that. I mean, most PNG airstrips, even the smallest, stinkiest airfields, have a name, you know?
a unique name. Absolutely. I can't think of one that doesn't.
Hey, speaking of that, there were a couple airstrips I was trying to fly to, and they wouldn't show up in little nav maps. What do I do in that situation?
You mean custom strips, like that you've loaded in from Flight Sim TO?
No, they were just they were routes on the flight search on the website. And I don't think they were airstrips that were custom made by us, but they just wouldn't show up.
So they should be in the default sim. Have you done a scenery library load?
Yes, sir.
Into little. Yeah, that should have everything that, in theory, that should have everything that's in your copy of Flight Sim.
All right, I'll go back and look at them because it was while I was at Port Moresby, so I should be able to go and look at them and grab a couple of them and then make it a specific question. So just shotgunning like, hey, any airport that's not in here.
Yeah, maybe there's a glitch somewhere. I think Russell's only got strips in the default sim in there right now, but I couldn't swear to it.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's more of a me issue because I just did a clean install of the sim, and before I didn't have any issues, but I'm not sure what would have caused me to have issues now.
Yeah, it sounds mysterious. I don't know what that would be. So this is Lake Gordon, Tasmania's largest lake. Holds 12 and a half cubic kilometers of water. We got some water effects on some of these shores here.
Yes, I can see those. You can actually see underneath the terrain just there.
Oh. Wow, into the void.
So past waypoint 16, is that still Lake Gordon?
Yes, it is. Yep.
That's a big lake.
We leave Lake Gordon at waypoint 18.
Anyway, drinking anything?
Bud Light seltzers.
Oh god.
I decided to get a little classy tonight.
I can see that.
What are you drinking?
Coffee.
Oh yeah, I had coffee about an hour ago, so that makes sense. You're only drinking coffee?
Yep.
No. Well, now I feel like an alcoholic.
What time is it there in Florida land?
Almost 1 a.m.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, and I got up at 6. So I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs.
I bet. Doing alright myself. Took some of some Wazo's medicine.
What's Wazo's medicine? I shudder to think.
Meth.
Yeah, math.
I would say I wouldn't ordinarily be up this late, but with how messed up my sleep schedule is from school, I would be up this late.
Oh, so you're just like you're sustaining your sleep cycle here, right? It's a healthy thing.
Yeah, we'll go with that. That sounds good.
See, I'm throwing my sleep schedule in, no regard to that, because I'm about to spend 2 weeks working every single day, like 12 hours a day, on a project in Philadelphia. And that's gonna suck.
Are you traveling to Philadelphia?
Yep.
Oh, that'll be nice. At least you have cooler weather.
No,
What do you mean, no?
I don't want cooler weather, man.
Isn't it like 90 degrees where you're at?
No, bro, it's been like low 80s, which is like closer to perfect than I'm gonna be in Philadelphia.
Okay,
Where it's
if you
gonna be
think
like 60.
if you think low 80s are perfect, you and I can 100% fight.
Oh, you wanna fight?
Yeah, I'll fight. Sure do I have some strong words and opinions of you about the weather. Yeah, dude, 65 or bust. Grew up in
Yeah, but
Florida?
you never get that. What are you?
Nah,
Why are you asking for the impossible?
because I can ask all I want, it doesn't mean I'm gonna get it. A boy can dream.
It was in the 70s last Christmas
Well,
in Florida.
I grew up in Florida, and I spent 5 years in Tennessee, and I realized how absolutely stupid living in Florida is, and I want to go back to Tennessee.
Florida has one fucking season.
It has 2 seasons,
What?
summer and summer junior.
Summer and summer.
And don't disrespect summer junior, otherwise it'll turn into summer.
Actually, I think we can both agree on this one. There's a third season, which is hurricane season.
Hurricane season
You,
ain't nothing.
you never know when you're just gonna get wrecked by a massive, Cat 3, Cat 4.
Dude, I've been in Cat 3s and Cat 4s, and I swear to God, they do not hit Florida like how they hit Louisiana and Texas.
Dude, this last one sucked. I was cleaning out limbs for weeks.
Yeah, Cat 4s hit Florida like Cat 1s hit you.
That's the Gulf of Mexico effect, right?
I think that's just the ignorance of Florida effect, to be honest. People down here are retarded. They're living in the Keys on the water line. They're like, Category 4 coming in, mandatory evacuation. The people down there are like, nah, I'm good. My house is built on stilts.
That'll do it.
That'll save them from the storm surge, maybe, but the winds, you never really know about.
Dude, yeah, the people down there, their roofs get ripped off. They have no electricity for 2 weeks, and they're like, I don't know who could have predicted this.
I'm really surprised that people like that can even get homeowners insurance. Like, you would think that the insurance company would be like, nah, you're like totally definitely a liability. We'll never recoup our costs. No, we're not insuring you.
Dude, homes, like buying a house and insurance down here in Florida is stupid expensive for that reason. The house that I owned up in Tennessee was $164,000. That same house down here would have been $400,000. Rent down here on the smallest place I could find was more than my mortgage in Tennessee.
So why are you staying in Florida?
Because my childhood home that I grew up in, my dad and I have been renovating over the last year and a half, and he's let me live here because it's paid off, and all I have to do is pay utilities, property tax, and insurance. So I got a sweet deal. It's the only reason I can afford to live in Florida.
So you're sticking around the same old toilets, huh?
Well, my wife wanted to come home
Gotta
after
have-
me being in the Army for 5 years. She was like, I want to go home. And I was like, alright, we'll go home, we'll finish up college. I'm like, man, after that we can figure it out.
Any plans on that, figuring it out?
Yeah, get the fuck out of Florida. With or without her. Nah, for real though, we don't know. She's gonna finish up her physical therapy program. I'm gonna finish up the firefighter academy, and we'll see what happens.
These islands in here are awesome. They did a
Yeah,
good job with this lake.
And they're all uninhabited.
This whole place is beautiful. I didn't know that Tasmania looked like this.
Is the no human inhabitation extend just to the national park or to the entire, like, the heritage site?
It's pretty much the whole World Heritage Area, except there's this little town or village just back near the dams for the crew that operate the dams, and there's a road that comes into that, and that's it for the entire World Heritage area. There's no other permanent habitation or population, I think.
Talk about living in a company town. That's pretty much I'm assuming a power company town.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, it's a government agency, but basically, yeah, that's right. And
Okay.
I don't know, it's got probably got like a population of about 20 or something.
Similar story for a state that Winnie lived in, as far as
Talk about
state agency
TVA.
running. Yeah, Tennessee Valley Authority.
I love those people.
So we're going to climb up a little bit. I mean, there's not a whole lot of climbing in this whole run, but
There
I'm going
it
to climb
is.
to about 4,000 to hop on top of this range to our right.
Okay, so another semi-serious question. So we have a high ping in Southeast Asia, but like everyone looks like they're flying smoothly. So what does the ping really mean?
Well, they reckon it doesn't have much effect in these flight sim games. It's more if you're doing those first-person shooters where your bullets have got to be super precise. So a slow ping in flight sim isn't really a big deal.
I imagine you'd probably notice it if one of us started doing really, really erratic maneuvers, or if we were in a much faster plane like a F-22 or something.
So would it look different if you did it versus Wantok, since you and I are in the same part of the world and Wantok's not, or would it look all the same since we're on the same server?
Probably all the same. Because you're receiving, in fact, it'd probably be more noticeable for me because what you're seeing is having to go from me all the way to Southeast Asia, then back to you. Whereas for Wantok, it just has to go from me to Southeast Asia to him, who's theoretically closer to the server.
Yeah, except our ping times are worse than for the US. So.
For some reason, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's all BS.
Also, the ping time is only one factor. I mean, the bandwidth, like your quality of a bandwidth, is probably much more significant.
I mean, there's only a few, measurements of what we're doing to send over. I mean, it's not that difficult or that heavy of a package to send over to relay a position to place a model on our screen.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, you can probably see a smooth path for a plane, as long as you've got good enough bandwidth. Even if the ping is slow, you're just seeing the plane a little bit behind where it really is. But that doesn't really make much difference.
Right. Now, if you were shooting at me and I was shooting at you, yeah, I would probably notice a difference.
Right, exactly. It's when you've got that kind of interaction.
A quick interaction.
So this is the Western Arthur Range.
There is that pause.
And apparently it's much more difficult bushwalking than it maybe appears, and it takes something like 9 to 11 days to walk from one end of this range down to the other end you can see in front of you. Just a whole lot of really steep country and dense bush.
Got some nice lakes up in here, though.
Yeah, fantastic landscapes. Off to the right, you can see Bathurst Harbour, where we're going to land on at a strip just on the other side of that. This weather must be pretty nice. There's a lot of rainfall around here, as you can see from the live weather. I mean, this whole area, this whole wooded area is basically rainforest, or, high rainfall environment.
It looks similar to parts of New Zealand.
That makes sense. A bit of actual terrain, unlike most of Australia, and a bit of actual rainfall, unlike most of Australia.
Yeah, that's right. We get a lot of rainfall here, especially in the South Island.
Should try and dream up an invitational route there.
Yeah, I'll have a look at what airstrips are around, especially down south, and I'll put together a route and I'll give it to you for a look.
Great. Yeah, I imagine there's a lot to see there.
Hey, Winnie, do you fly like that with passengers?
No, absolutely not. I only fly like that in the Invitationals because I can get away with it.
Personally, on my iPad, I have a waiver for people to digitally sign off on before they seat up.
I think someone caught me flying invert and doing barrel rolls everywhere.
That's why they signed the waiver.
What's the total distance we've gone so far?
Probably close to 100 miles, 120 miles.
That's wild, because usually we split it up into like 30, 50 nautical mile increments, but I feel like I haven't been flying that long. It's probably just terrain, but this is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole run today is like 230, but this first run, I mean, there's no airstrip, so, well, the first one's coming up. And so I guess that'll be like maybe a halfway, bit over 100.
This is really nice. Did you put this together?
Yeah, I put this together. I've never actually been to Tasmania. I don't know what it's like. I just checked out some interesting places on Slew.
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this. Even though that was technically like a long run, it didn't feel long. Like I'm flying. It's just, the whole part was interesting. I like it.
Yeah, varied landscape goes a long way, I reckon. This peak to our left is called Federation Peak, which is one of the higher peaks around here, 3,700 feet. As usual with Australia, we're not really talking mountains here.
I am dumber than a box of rocks.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought,
To explain.
Yeah, I thought Tasmania was off the coast of Africa.
Think of Madagascar?
No, I thought it was south of Madagascar. You mentioned Australia, and I was like, wait a minute, this man's about to turn my life upside down. I looked it up, and I was like, God, it zoomed in on it, and all I saw was Melbourne, and I was like, idiot! Thanks for the geography lesson.
Anytime.
I was sitting here, I was like, why is he talking about the mountains in Australia? That doesn't make any sense.
You got the what's the little quote range there? It's actually an animal preserve, I think.
In Tasmania?
No, in Australia. Something.
Did you give it the Great Dividing Range? There's like this sort of range, so-called. I mean, it doesn't really have any mountains, but there's a range that runs right up the entire east coast of Australia called the Great Dividing Range. Or were you thinking of the mountains near Sydney, like the Blue Mountains?
I mean, hold on. I'm gonna quick Google search. Let me just get my trip set.
I've also got a question for you. And you've probably heard it a lot. Americans love Steve Irwin. How do you feel about him?
Legend.
He's a pretty awesome character. It's kind of he was almost like a cartoon character in a way. He's such an extreme version of an Australian.
Alright, cool. So we feel the same way about him. I love the dude. Like, he was definitely extreme, but that guy was cool.
Yeah. His enthusiasm was amazing.
Don't forget to call out terrain for me.
I can't see you, so terrain.
Okay.
Are you on live weather?
No,
No,
I'm just
I'm
his
gonna
tallest system. Good. I can see everyone but you, so just assume there's a mountain.
What in doubt.
And what I was looking for was the Barrington Tops, which is part of the Great Dividing
Oh.
Range.
Okay, yeah. It's northern New South Wales, I think. That's part of the world. Cool temperate rainforest, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting climate type that's not too common in this the southern hemisphere, at least.
Yeah, for sure. There's a few patches of that, what's it called? Araucarian or something? Rainforest? It's like basically a biome that's existed for 100 million years since Pangaea. It's around this kind of cool temperate rainforest from before flowering plants. And there's only a few patches. There's some on the eastern coast of Australia, and there's a couple in Chile.
Very cool.
This little ridge just before you turn left into Bathurst Harbour is called Mount Rugby for no obvious reason.
The whitecaps on the water.
And Mount Beatty on the other side of the little mouth of the harbor, which isn't really much of a mount. It's only 250 meters tall, so significantly smaller than Mount Rugby.
I mean, really, calling something like that a mountain, it's got to be against some rule, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's 3 times the height of the tallest point in Florida, so I mean, that's a mountain to me.
Oh, okay. You're like the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I made the mistake when I went to Canada back about almost 10 years ago now. I made the mistake of trying to run up a hill.
No
It looked like a hill,
way.
but I forgot at what elevation the bottom of the hill was at. By the time I got to the top, I was got the black rings. I hadn't passed out all the way, but I was on the verge.
Oh,
Yeah.
from the like the oxygen, the elevation.
Yeah.
You can do a loop in the caravan.
I was definitely depleting my blood of oxygen. Interesting experience though. That was a hell of a walk down.
That was in the Rockies.
Yeah, that was Jasper National Park. Ended up after I did that, we ended up hiking like 10 or 13 miles or something like that up into the Victoria Range and camped next to a lake up there. It's pretty sweet.
Sounds great.
I'm assuming this is the airport?
Yeah.
Yeah, that big white slash. That's it. There's no permanent population here. This is just an airstrip used by the National Park Service and like bushwalkers. That's
So,
about it.
The best kind of airstrip.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna go take a leak behind the shed.
Good luck.
You got a permit for that?
Oh, you got a permit for that?
Oh, there's like a little campground right over there.
You can go take a leak over there.
Yeah. Melaleuca Campground.
Right. This place, this little group of buildings is called Melaleuca.
Needwani Walk. Oh, that's a hell of a trail.
Yeah, bushwalkers sometimes get dropped off here for walks, but I mean they're, I think, usually at least a week from here to wherever they end up. There's a famous track around the south, like around the coast, but there's also some tracks on the inland part of the World Heritage Area.
Check your fuel. Oh, it's down to 35%.
They're about halfway here.
Got about a third.
Whoops. Yeah, we should have probably a touch over 100 nautical miles to go, fuel-wise.
see what the live weather's looking like.
Yeah, it's a bit better than it was up north.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try it out.
Well, Winnie, to make you not feel like an alcoholic, I went and grabbed a bottle of Disaronno out of the cabinet.
I feel like more an alcoholic, so I'm convincing people to drink. But welcome to the party, brother.
You're an alcoholic with influence.
That's the worst kind.
Yeah, you're a pusher.
Whoa. The only thing I push is not shaving for your employer.
First. Wow.
Dude, so in the Army, I had to get a haircut every 2 weeks, and I had to shave every day, and I think now that I'm out, I get a haircut about every 6 months, and I shave about once a month. And it's not even like down to the skin, it's just like a number 5 on a hair trimmer. I do it enough to where I don't look scraggly, but I don't do it enough to look clean cut every day, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I'm enjoying my freedom until I get a real job again.
Wait, livery painter's not a real job?
Well, if I got paid for it, yes. But when you have as many people putting up free liveries as there are, no one's gonna pay for this. I do the livery paints as a escape from schoolwork and remodeling my house, but I actually just genuinely enjoy it.
Yeah, good stuff. It's kind of like that for me with making little airstrips.
Yeah, it seems like a whole foreign territory. I don't know how you do it.
I mean, once you get the hang of a few of the tools in the SDK, it's kind of straightforward. In fact, most of it, the big impediments are in PNG are the lack of good images and information.
I mean, I can understand that until when I started doing these libraries a month ago. Until a month ago, I had never used Blender or GIMP, so.
Oh wow! Yeah, you've had a steep learning curve, I guess.
I've spent entirely too much time on it on a daily basis, as the messages to Bingham and Sixpack about this won't work would testify to. Literally any point I get frustrated with school, which is pretty often, I'll load up a Blender or GIMP thing and do it for about half an hour and go back to school.
Who almost sideswiped me?
That was me. Don't
Winnie.
worry about it. Well, you would have known it was me if you had my library downloaded, sir.
Well, no, you're in a 208 file. Sir.
Yeah, but I don't look orange to you, sir. I'm trying to be the creamsicle of the sky.
We'll pop over to live weather and see what it looks like.
It's nice. I'm on.
Horrible.
What is my?
Oh wait. There we go.
Yeah, it should adjust. It's pretty good now.
Yeah. Right now we got 14 knot winds out of the west.
Where are you seeing that?
My GTN 750. Or you can, in the 208, you can go PFD. On your PFD, the little PFD button. And then wind, option 1.
Thank you.
Or option 2 or option 3, depends on what you want.
Ooh, I like option 3. I'm getting 20 knots at 260. Is that about what you're getting?
Roughly, yep. 17 knots at 240.
How are they that far off?
Well, I don't know.
3 knots and 20 degrees? I
Well,
don't
it's
fly
in
real
relation-
planes, but I feel like that'd make a difference.
What's your heading? What are you heading at?
I'm heading 075 now, and I'm getting...
I got 20 knots out of 241.
I'm getting 20 knots at a 256.
Okay, well it's close.
Yeah, pretty close. Mine's 21 out of 255 or so.
What the fuck? Would that amount of degrees actually make a difference if you were actually flying, or is that just kind of like ballpark, like, hey, you're going to get pushed by this amount of wind from this direction?
I mean, for handheld GA flying like this, it's not going to make much difference, I don't think.
Okay, I'm cool with it then.
But for like long distance planning, it could make a difference.
Like
Like-
dead reckoning and the steerman?
Oh, absolutely, for dead reckoning. Yeah.
Because theoretically we could be going 10 plus knots faster than we would have.
Yeah, nice tailwind. This range to our left is called the Ironbound Range. And we're coming up on Prion Beach, which is a weird name for a beach.
It's pretty though.
You want to try to land on the beach?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it's doable.
It's up to you. You're the leader of this party.
I'm happy for you to try and land, sure. Give it a try myself.
I do like the rocky outcroppings in these hillsides.
Yeah, it's
They're beautiful.
pretty cool.
This whole area. This whole area is beautiful. I'm not talking on the mic right now. So you'll hear me whether or not I'm talking on the mic or not. I'm giving them a break from my voice. Did any of you guys get the UH-60 mod?
I did.
Not yet.
sorry, I think I stepped on something.
How is it? I've not tried it out. How is it?
I just downloaded it, and like I said, I've been having a lot of problems with Microsoft Flight Simulator and Windows 11. So anytime I try to start it, my game just crashes. I was just trying to see what you guys think about it.
I think it sucks.
Oh, why is that?
I can't fly it. I can fly all the other helicopters, but not that one.
Have you tried turning the realism up or down?
What realism?
I haven't changed any settings.
Yeah, I'd go in and mess with the settings, because they have a realism slider and a couple other things inside of FS Elite, or that's probably not what it's called. Whatever the program is, you have to run it. There's some settings you can adjust. I would try adjusting some of those. But when was the last time you flew it? Because they just released an update, I think 1 or 2 days ago.
Oh, no, it's been a few days, so maybe, yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, apparently there's been big flight model changes, like I said, 1 or 2 days ago when they released it.
Yeah, I'd be flying around just doing great, and then all of a sudden, nosedive.
You know what? I think the dude I just watched reviewing that had the same thing happen even with the new flight model, so maybe they didn't fix it. I don't know anything about the flight model. The only criticism I had about it was the high-pitched whine from the engines was not high-pitched whiny enough.
I landed on the narrow part of the beach down here, and now taxiing all the way down to where you guys are.
This is quite a chunky beach.
Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Bingham knows what I'm talking about. You've seen that.
Jesus.
For the uninitiated, there was a gentleman on trial in court, and he had told an FBI agent that she was, and I quote, thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, to which he gave her the old, like, pistol fingers. It was like, yeah, I said that. In his defense, her build looked like she might have been thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Hey, you know what?
Oh, the beach is not flat.
I marked it as not for kids. If you got a problem with that, that's on you, son.
It's like an actual sand dune.
Yeah.
The beach might not be flat, but the earth is.
No. I don't believe you.
What
proof do you have?
Well, look across the water. Do you see anything else?
Doesn't that kind of disprove your whole argument?
Nope. The water's where it ends.
Okay, so I guess Tasmania is the whole world then.
I'm cool with that. It's a pretty nice place. Are we going again?
Sure, why not?
I have a very short strip to take off of. Oh no, it's much longer than I thought it was.
It's quite a long stretch.
Yes, it is. This is a pretty big beach.
So we just swing inland here, run up the lagoon, and then we climb up to the top of that little range to the right.
around, son.
This first peak at the start of the range is called Precipitous Bluff.
Does that mean it rains a lot?
Is that the one on the right, one top?
Yeah, the first one on the right on this ridge.
I'm not stalling. Get out of here.
It's above the clouds for me right now. Which, yeah, this is live.
Apparently it's infamous for how difficult it is to climb up for bushwalkers.
I can imagine.
About to be a first for how difficult it is to climb up for me. Make it pretty easy work with it. Jesus, man, it's weird. The wind's kind of wild, I'm not gonna lie.
So I want to climb to about 3,500 feet, something like that, up, and then up to 4,000 and a bit beyond as we go over the peaks.
Oh, Jesus. Shouldn't be. It should be right here, right?
Oh, there's someone in his Stearman. Huge Mercury 163 is in a Stearman.
I went a wildly different direction from you gentlemen.
Really?
Did you keep following the coast?
Yeah, perhaps. I may be at user point 32.
Oh, that's not far away. We're just beyond that a little bit.
I didn't see the old curve back to the left, and I was like, hey, there's user 33, and I started heading towards that.
So you're just going to do a few circles for a while?
Yeah, I'm flying back towards you guys. I don't like to be separated from the pack. It scares me a little.
Oh, it's getting kind of cloudy at this altitude.
Oh, fuck yeah. The clouds. Oh, Jesus. The clouds
Some
break
eyes.
at about 5,600.
Oh, what's your outside air temperature?
Mine's -2.
-7.
And there's ice in territory.
Oh, got some ice. A little icing on the windshield.
Icing, schmicing is no big deal. Where's my anti-icing stuff? Stall heat. Not fluid. got all the heats on.
I think I'm going back to Papua New Guinea cloudy. There's a couple more little high altitude lakes over here on the around the peak of, what is this called? Mount Pindar or something. Pindar's Peak. No, Oval. Yeah, right. Pindar's Peak and then Oval Lake.
Which is a bit misleading since it's not an oval.
Demand a refund.
Banks in the caravan, don't worry about it. Oh, that's some overspeed. That's some G's. The wind up here is wild. I'm getting 30 knot winds up here at 6,700.
Got 23 at 38.
Down here behind the mountain at like 4,000, I've only got 12.
I think they're gusting because it'll go from flying kind of normally to trying to roll the plane over.
Oh yeah, but I'm actually not a live weather, so that would be something.
Definitely try it out. It's not bad. Wind's a bit fun.
Oh yeah, I was. I just turned it off just now.
Did Flytekin switch to a 208 from a 182?
No, I've been in the 208 the whole time. I think Jedi Knight's been in the 182 turbo.
That's right. Has he been speaking at us?
Don't think so.
No, he's not on the Discord anymore, and he was muted before.
Oh, okay.
So this is pretty much where we leave the national park and the World Heritage Area and come into all the trappings of Tasmania's version of urban civilization.
That's a huge national park.
Yeah, it's like 25. It's more than 25% of the whole of Tasmania.
Like, I wish the United States was more than 25% of national parks.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Got kind of a higher population density than we do, I guess.
I think you're more educated on that fact than I am. I wouldn't begin to tell you who's more population dense.
Well, I mean, you guys have got about 300 million people. Australia's got 25.
Hey, be honest, I don't have a clue. I tend to keep to myself. I don't know about the whole population thing and all that. Like, it's just...
You keep to yourself.
Yep.
Alright, man. But yeah, Australia has a crazy low population density if you factor in the massive void that is the central mass of Australia.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just this huge kind of desert, the outback. 90-something% of the country, really. Virtually no one lives there. So this is Bruny Island we're coming up to, and it's it has a national park on the southern part of it, and there's a famous lighthouse which I don't think is modelled in the sim, unfortunately, on the southern end.
Now, how does this figure? You got Tyler's Hill, Hayes Hill, Shingle Hill, Lomas Hill, all on the north side of the bay. But then you have Mount Bleak Mount, and it's only 142 meters. You got hills that are 490 meters plus, and then you got a mount that's 142.
It's probably a real estate scam.
Care to attempt to pronounce the name of this channel?
Dontracasto?
Yeah.
The island and the channel are both named after the same person. This guy was called Bruny Dontracasto.
That's a horrible name. I swear I'd hate to be called Bruny.
It's probably why I left France. There is a little airstrip coming up, which is not in the sim, but it's probably landable on that spit of land that runs right across and nearly encloses the lagoon in front of us. Which I think is an airstrip in real life, by the looks of it.
Yeah, it is. cleared up nicely on live weather though. Brutal winds though.
Oh, cool. I'll give it another spin.
Should be a fun crosswind landing here.
Getting winds out of 247, so yeah.
Alright, I'm about to turn on to final.
At Bruny Island?
At whatever this little airstrip's called that's on this.
Oh,
spectrum.
right. Yeah. It should be pretty good for a landing into whatever that bearing is.
It's pretty
Just
clear.
a strong headwind.
I'm taking off, or I'm landing on 07. Well, 08.
Okay, I think you're thinking of a different airstrip. The one I'm looking at has got a different bearing.
You're talking about the airstrip that almost encloses the lagoon?
Yeah.
What waypoint are y'all at?
I'm right in front of you. I don't know if you can see me.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. This little lagoon is called Cloudy Bay.
Yeah, I'm on that airstrip that's on the south side. It's let's see, I'm facing the other way, 260, so 08 260
Gotcha, yeah.
or 0826. I came in with the tailwind, so that's probably why.
Apparently there's a surfing competition that happens on this little beach here. It's kind of hard to imagine because it's really enclosed. Maybe the waves get focused or something.
It's definitely a lovely view out across the water. Little cliffs on the west side and east side of the bay. Is the lighthouse visible from this beach? Or should it be if it was modeled in?
Yeah, I think it would be. It's just across the other side of the bay and sort of on the other side of one of the islands, but they're not big islands.
Alright, taking off. Got about a 15 knot headwind. Turn into it. Or in with it. Waves are choppy.
Wow, it's so nice to take up into that kind of headwind. Airspeed goes up really fast.
Lifts you right up.
So this place, Bruny Island, is well known for a kind of gourmet tourism. It's got its specialty cheeses and wines and oysters and that kind of thing.
Great oyster restaurant and farm up here. Get shucked. There's also a winery up here in Little. Bruny Island Premium Wines. You can see it's a little tiny vineyard, not that big.
You can see it in the sim? Oh yeah, right, I can too, yep. I can see one.
I think there is only one. Guy's got a really unique name. Ian username. I'm about to do a little pass over the winery. And the funny thing is, down here on the road, the satellite image showing the roadway is offset from the AI road, so the cars are driving just off the side of the road. Fun little glitches.
Oh, that happens here, okay. I'm surprised. I see that all the time in BNG, but I was thinking the road data would be good here. Wow, this is a spectacular neck of land here with the beach. So we're coming in over this little lagoon to our left to land at Bruny Island on runway 32.
It's a really nice range or ridge line off to our 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Right on the horizon.
Oh yeah. It's like the edge of the National Park World Heritage Area, I think.
Shooting the gap of trees earlier, I was a little sloppy. I'll see if I can do any better this time.
Yeah, it's a fairly tight gap for an Australian strip. I'm right on your 6, so maybe don't knock in another notch of flaps, otherwise I'll run into you.
Still reading 13 knots out of, 14 knots out of 233.
That's more like a crosswind.
Yeah, it kind of mucked up my landing just a little bit.
I read a book called Bruny a couple of months ago, which was all about this it's like a fiction book. It's about a plot by China to build this massive $100 million bridge from Bruny Island to the mainland, and then take over Bruny Island as a territory of China, and build all these factories here.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That is the most insane thing I believe I've ever heard of.
Stretching it slightly.
Why would Australia ever allow China to build such a massive structure on their land?
Oh, well, political corruption, of course.
That would have to be some massive political corruption, because I imagine it would stoke up a lot of pissed off people.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like an airborne novel, I guess.
But, jet fuel can't melt steel beams, All the conspiracy theories. Gotta love them.
True. Endless.
Which I guess that's a little bit more of a direct concern for you guys, considering you're just a little bit closer.
Yeah, China's kind of a big deal politically and economically and all that.
But I could definitely see that that concept of soft power tactics. Little underhanded dealings, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, Chinese political influence is a live issue in Australia, but there is quite a lot of lobbying by Chinese companies and Chinese government to sort of influence stuff. And it's kind of one of the things on the political landscape for sure.
I do think it's interesting though what will happen with a lot of the African nations that China has poured money into. You know, geopolitical instability and whatnot. That's what's gonna happen when basically China's left holding out their hand and nothing's dropped into it.
Oh yeah, with the Belt and Road infrastructure stuff. Absolutely. Could be some crunches there. Alright, I'm rolling. Trying to race me and winning?
That was 15 knots of headwind as well. Wind has shifted just a little bit on this coastline.
Perfect timing.
So yeah, that little town up here, Great Bay, is where the Get Shucked Oyster Bar and Oyster Farm is.
Huh, okay. If I ever go to Tasmania, I should check it out.
Get Shucked. And if you read their website, the first line kind of gives away that they're fun people, you know? Very touristy oriented.
I mean, this whole place, Bruny Island's only got 600 people. I'm pretty sure they're just about all dealing with tourism.
What's the population?
600 for the whole thing.
Jesus. Literally everybody works everywhere. There's
Yeah, I mean,
there's no retired people, there's nothing like that. If you live here, you work here.
Yeah, I imagine so. I think there are some locals that live here, but they're tiny. Virtually none. And it's almost an outer suburb of the capital city, Hobart. If you catch the ferry over, you could kind of commute, I think.
Oh yeah. Can't imagine that's very well, unless I guess there was a population boom that necessitated the building of suburbs, so to speak, out here.
Yeah, well, if you look across the water those are basically suburbs for Hobart.
Right. But Kingston.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the mountain in front of us, straight in front of us, Mount Wellington. That's really in the middle of Hobart, or the CBD is on the other side of that.
Gotcha. How well is it modeled?
I mean, I've never seen it in real life. I have no idea. Although, I mean, from a distance, it looks convincing. They get snow on there, which is a rarity in Australia. So you need to be at about 3,000 as you cross the shoreline if you want to see the strip visually, because it's kind of over. There's a rise, and it's like at the other side of the rise, so you can't really see it from 2,000 or so at the if you're at the shoreline. So you should be able to see a big quarry, and the strip is just beyond that and to the left of the quarry. Strip is called Sandpit, and runway is 27. Elevation just over 600, like 620.
I saw that bounce.
Yeah.
I think this airstrip was just built by some guy who had a plane who wanted to build his own strip like 50 years ago. Don't know what the status of it is now. I used to be part of a project called AusieX or AusX, which built tiny little bush strips for Flight Sim X.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Sandfly was one of the strips in our pack of airfields.
Yeah, I remember those days. The Aussie stuff was pretty much an essential if you're flying in Australia.
Yeah, crucial for bush flying, especially when there weren't so many decent strips in the default. Yeah, it's a lot of fun making those.
Yeah, I enjoyed that route. Nice work putting it together.
Yeah,
Cheers,
great
thanks.
trip.
Yeah, it's a really interesting part of the world. Now I'm tempted to actually visit it IRL.
Well, I'll catch you guys later. That was a great run, though.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Yeah, thanks for coming along at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, I've got to head out too. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, see you later.
Yeah, it was good talking to you. I'm heading out too.
All right, see you, buddy. Have a good one.
You too, man.